Hello friends, welcome back. We are studying Fluent API in Entity Framework 6. It is one of the way to configure your domain classes in code first approach. So this video will cover entity configuration in Fluent API. In last video we saw introduction to Fluent API, and there I told you that configuring the domain classes in Fluent API is classified in three parts. First is entity configuration, second is property configuration, and the third one is model configuration. So this video will cover entity configuration. So let us see it in detail. So in introductory video also I told you that whenever you want to configure the entity, in that case you have to use entity method of DB model builder class. Okay, you have to use the entity method of DB model builder class, and it is generic method where you have to pass the entity type, which is nothing but your domain classes that you want to configure. Now this method in returns gives you entity type configuration object, and you have to use the methods of that entity type configuration object. And again, we already saw this method in introductory video, so this video will cover only these two methods, that is toTable and hasKey. So toTable is used to set the table name for your entity type. Suppose you do not want to use a default code first convention, you want to assign the different name to your table. In that case you can use toTable method, whereas hasKey is used to specify the primary key. Okay, so for studying this method, that is has foreign key, has many, with required, has optional, with optional, with many, and will cascade on delete, I'll create a separate method. Basically these methods are required to establish relationship between the entities. So I'll create a separate video for each and every relationship, that is for one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, and many-to-many relationship. So in that video I'm going to cover these methods. Okay, so here we are going to concentrate on these two methods only, and the case study that I'm going to cover here is this one. So as you can see, it is a class diagram where it has department, employee, employee address, project, and team entities. Okay, so let me explain you the relationship between this entity. One department has one to many employees, or you can directly say department has many employees. One employee has one address. Okay, one employee works on many projects, and as well as one project has many employees, that's why there is many to many relationship. And one team has many employees, a team is assigned to employees, so single team can be assigned to multiple employees, that's why there is many relationship. Okay, so if you observe here I just put a star. Okay, I didn't say one or star, so it means what? One team can have 0 employee or more employee, 0 or more. Okay, now why I put a asterisk sign only, or why I said 0 or more employee, we will study it at the time of studying one to many relationship. Okay, now let us switch to Visual Studio to study the entity configuration practically. As you can see here, I have created one console application named as Fluent API. Okay, and all the required entities are created that I explained you in the case study in the PowerPoint slide. Okay, the most important is DB context class. So I have created my DB context class, which is inherited from DB context, and for that we need this namespace, and make sure that you have installed entity framework in your application. And I already explained how to install entity framework in your application in environment setup video. Okay, so if you are not aware of that part, please watch that video. Now here what we are going to do, we are going to specify the connection string in our config file, and that connection string we are going to provide to our base class constructor. Okay, so here I'm going to use app config file. Okay, since we are in console application, we have to use app config file. If you are working with web application, in that case you have to specify your connection string in web.config file. So remember this thing. So in app.config file, as you can see here, this is my connection string. Under connection string stack, I have added one connection string. Name of my connection string is constr. It is totally up to you what name you want to specify. It can be any name. Then after, you have to specify the connection string attribute, where you will specify all the connection string details. So data source is nothing but what? Your server name, right? Data source is nothing but what? Server name. So I am using the local server, that's why the name is ./SQL Express. Initial catalog is nothing but a name of your database, what name you want to specify to your database. Integrity security is equal to true means you are using window authentication. If you are using SQL Server authentication, in that case your username and password will appear here. Okay, and this is nothing but your last attribute is provider name, which is system.data.sql client. Now let us switch to our MyDB context class. So here I have to give call to my base class constructor. Okay, and to base class constructor you have to specify it in this way. Name is equal to name is equal to constr. I hope you understand this. Okay, while studying data annotation and default code first convention, what we did, we directly specify the name of database here. Okay, so at that time what happened, when you specify the name of database directly in the base class constructor, your database get created in a local server with whatever name you have given here. But now here what happened, what you specified, name is equal to, okay, it has a special meaning, name is equal to constr. So in that case it will go to your config file, and whatever connection string you have given, according to that it will create your database. So your database can be created on the remote server also. That is the advantage of this method. Okay, so we have done with MyDB context. Now these are the important classes, that is department, having field department ID and department name, DEPT ID and DEPT name. Then employee class, having this field, employee ID, employee name, salary, email, primary contact and secondary contact. Next one is employee address, having employee ID, address line 1, address line 2, city and zip code. Then team is there. In team class I specified team ID, team name and team size. And in project I have specified this property, that is project ID, project name, programming language and database name, or you can directly say database. Okay, so navigation properties are not defined yet. So now we are going to define this navigation property. Okay, so according to our case study, one department has what? Many employees. So here my navigation property will be of type iCollection. See, when you say one department has many employees, many means what? More than one value. In that case you have to use iCollection. Then here you have to specify the data type, and then after you will specify the property name. So since we have many employees, so I am using pluralized form, employees. Okay, now again for lazy loading, this property should be what? Virtual. Now as we specified this navigation property in department class, we have to specify it in employee class also. So in both the places we have to define the navigation property. Now one employee has one department, so here department and property name can be anything again, but I am going to keep the same name as that of my class name. Again this property should be what? Virtual. Okay, so we have defined the navigation property in employee class also. Now in employee address, as I told you, there is one-to-one relationship between employee and employee address. That's why employee ID is going to be primary key here. Okay, and one employee address has one employee. Okay, so here what will be my navigation property? It will be of type employee, single employee, right? employee, and property name I'm also going to keep it employee only. You can define another one, and virtual. In the same way, I have to specify the navigation property in employee class, okay, which will be of type what? Employee address. So prop employee address, okay, again virtual. Now, as we saw that one team has many employees. One team has many employees. So what I have to do here? Team will have a collection of employees. Okay. So prop I collection employee, and this is going to be employees. Name of property will be what? Employees. Now in the same way, I have to define the navigation property employee class for team. Let it be virtual first of all. Okay. Now in employee class, there will be a navigation property for team. So one employee works in a single team, right? Okay. So this is also defined. Now last one is project. In project and employee, there is many to many relationship. One project has many employees, and one employee can work on multiple projects. So here, since there is many to many relationship, my navigation property is of type collection. So I collection employee, and here my property name is going to be employees. Okay, and this will be a virtual property. In the same way, in my employee class, I have to define I collection property of type projects. So prop I collection, sorry, here it will be project, and my property name will be projects. Okay, and again this is going to be a virtual. Okay, so we're done with a navigation property. The next step is to define the DB set property for each and every domain class that we have created. Okay, prop DB set departments. Here also you can use different name, no matter. So I'm just going to keep my same class name in the pluralized form. Okay, in the same way we'll create rest of the DB set properties. Okay, so as you can see, rest of the DB set properties are also created. Now the most important thing is we have to override on model creating method of DB context class in our MyDB context class, where we can configure our domain classes using Fluent API. Okay, so just say override, press space key, and you will find that method here on model creating. Okay, now this on model creating method accept the object of type what? DB model builder class, and this DB model builder class object has entity method and property method that we saw in introductory video. So this video is about configuring the entities, so we are going to use entity method of DB model builder class. So I'm just going to remove this base class method call. Now as I told you, we are going to study two table method which is used to set a table name for the entity. So what you have to say, you have to use this object of DB model builder class, which is model builder. Even you can rename it also. The method name is itself entity. Okay, it is generic method. So here you have to specify the entity type which you want to configure. Say, as you can see here, class name is department. We will configure the department table name. Okay, so class name is department, and I want to specify it as DPT. I want to specify it as DEPT. So what you will do, you will say entity type, that is department. Since it is method, open close round bracket, dot toTable method is there. Now here you have to specify the table name that is going to be used in SQL Server. So it is of type string, so I'm going to call this table in SQL Server as DEPT. That's it. Okay, so toTable method is used to configure table name or to set the table name in SQL Server. Okay, now the next method that we are going to study is has. Has key is used to configure the primary key. Okay, so again I'm going to specify the primary key for this department class, because as you can see here, this DEPT ID is not following the default code first convention. According to default code first convention, the primary key property name should be ID or class name plus ID. So it is not even ID and not even department ID. So I have to explicitly mention it using Fluent API. So here I'll say model builder dot entity. Which entity? We are going to specify it for department entity. It is method, just put open close round bracket, and it has key property. Okay, to this key property you have to specify the lambda expression. Okay, so it is accepting func delegate, which argument is what? Department, and whatever key we are going to specify, it is going to be a return type. So here you will specify the argument, which is nothing but of type department. Then our lambda expression syntax, d goes to d dot department ID. So you should be aware of lambda expression if you are using Fluent API. And in my link video tutorial, I explained lambda expression in detail. So if you are not aware of that part, please watch that video. Okay, so we're done with this part. We configure the table, we configure the table name, and we set the primary key also. Okay, so I'm not going to execute this project now. After specifying all the relationship and property configuration, we are going to run this application. So I hope you understand this. If you have any doubts or questions, you can definitely write it to the comment section. And thank you for watching.